This week on Maker Update, games made just for you, AI robots without the code, screen addiction as a toy, and an offline AI chat that runs on human power. Hey, I'm Donald Bell, and this is Maker Update, our weekly showcase of new and notable DIY projects and tips from across the internet. I hope you're doing well. We've got another great show for you, so let's get started with the project of the week. From Grigor Todorov, we have a Raspberry Pi arcade project with a twist. Instead of loading up a Raspberry Pi with every vintage video game he could imagine, he created an AI-based system that would imagine new video games he'd never played before. After booting up the machine, you answer 4 multiple-choice questions about the kind of game you want to play. Each new game is completely unique, though relatively uncomplicated. You're not generating Grand Theft Auto here. Some of the games are better than others, some are downright unplayable or broken or just not much fun, but even the duds are kind of part of the charm here. You have to figure out what they're going for. Plus, let's not forget the Flappy Bird effect. A game can be laughably dumb and still be surprisingly fun. But every now and then you'll get something worth revisiting, and for that you have the option to browse an archive of your previously generated games. The hardware here is relatively basic. Grigor recycled a wooden box he wasn't using and drilled out a few holes for 2 buttons and a joystick. Inside the box, you'll find a Raspberry Pi 4 computer with 8 GB of RAM and an inexpensive encoder breakout board that translates the joystick and button input to the Raspberry Pi. I'll leave a link to the project's GitHub repo down in the description. There, you'll find the software along with the node.js HTTP server file, which calls out to OpenAI to generate new games, so you'll need a working API key to get that functional. If you want to try out a few of the highlight games right now, though, you can use that same GitHub page to play some of the games in your browser. Now for some news. Software company Hugging Face has developed a new graphical user interface program compatible with the low-cost LeRobot robot arm. The software is called LeLab, and it simplifies the creation of machine learning routines with robots while also speeding the process along. The video demo they show is fascinating. They use a LeRobot arm with 2 webcams attached to it and use teleoperation from an identical arm next to it to record the motion of picking up a pen and dropping it into a box. They repeat the process 50 times, recording the servo data and video footage from each successful pass. Then, with just a few clicks, you can send that data set to a machine learning training algorithm that can synthesize the data and simulate the task thousands of times. You can run the training locally on your own computer, or you have built-in options to send it out to higher powered machines that can chew through it faster for a price. With any luck, you'll get a smart, adaptable robot out of the whole process, but the cool thing is how quickly you can go from a pile of servos to a customized, intelligent robot, all without having to write a single line of code. Pretty cool stuff. Now for more projects. Here's a fun one from Akihiko Taniguchi. It's a series of 3D printed interactive electronic-based sculptures he calls boring screens. There are 3 models in total, all of which can be downloaded for free. One has a person sitting down with a laptop, one has a person lying down with a smartphone, and the other has a person watching TV. All 3 make use of those inexpensive OLED monochrome screens used in all kinds of projects. But what makes these sculptures fun to play with is that each one has a distinct animation that can be manipulated using a built-in joypad interface. The code runs on a Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller. You can find detailed instructions for everything using the link down in the description. Another project that caught my attention this week is this hand crank powered self-contained AI chat device by Squeez Labs. It's called Crank GPT, and it may sound like a joke, but they really made the thing. For the hardware, they connected an off-the-shelf 20-watt hand crank generator to a custom capacitor board to smooth out and store some of the power. And then they added a Raspberry Pi 5, a mic, and a speaker to do all the AI chatbot stuff. One of the interesting byproducts of getting something like this working is that the team spent a lot of time working out how to get the Raspberry Pi's boot time down. In their project guide, they talk about how they used a stripped-down version of Debian Linux called DietPi to optimize the boot time. And since the software all runs locally, they were able to shave off a few more seconds by disabling Bluetooth and Wi-Fi as well. Now for some tips and tools. If you want to add some weight to your 3D printed designs, maybe you've considered filling them with concrete, like the work we've seen from maker Chris Borhe. Well, here's another alternative shared by Joe Fedewa on the How To Geek blog. He shows how to achieve a similar result with plaster of Paris. This is a gypsum-based plaster that's easy to find in small quantities at most hardware stores. It's inexpensive and lends itself well to mixing in small batches. It's not going to give you the heft of concrete, but for small projects where you just want to add a little more oomph, it could be just the thing. If you're looking for a media player that looks right at home on an 80s CRT TV, check out 2040MP by Anthony Caccese. This is a VCR-inspired front end to a Plex media library on a Raspberry Pi. It's got the right look with a stripped-down blue screen and blocky all-caps text. You can also switch between a few different looks, including terminal, with a green-on-black format that could be perfect for the right project. There are some other useful features here that make it a great fit for vintage TVs, including quick controls for cropping content to fill the screen. There's also an ambient mode that allows you to endlessly loop content. If you've got a cool CRT TV and an older Raspberry Pi with a VGA compatible headphone output, this looks like a perfect way to get the TV up and running, even just as a kind of background decoration. Finally, don't miss the final chapter in Becky Stern's Made in Shenzhen video series, which came out last week. Becky gets a special look at Seed Studios' Agile Manufacturing Center as well as JLC PCB's fabrication facility and the intricate process involved in creating a multi-layer circuit board. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, check out the options for surface mount haptics mics and speakers made by PUI Audio. The common link here is vibration. Whether you're reading it in as a microphone or sending it out through a speaker or haptic buzz, when you're working at a surface mount scale, you want something that's well engineered for the task. You can find a link to DigiKey's selection of PUI Audio's surface mount components down in the description. All right, and that does it for this week's show. Be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you can. A big thanks as always to DigiKey for making this show possible, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.